Black men get the white women that other white men genuinely do not want. You don't get the top of the line white women. You don't. You get leftovers. Look at most of our celebrities. They did not marry women who came from the richest white families. Black money and white money don't behave the same. New black money will jump on any poor white girl and make her a billionaire, Tiger Woods. Rich white money doesn't operate that way. No interracial relationship is acceptable because we have too many black women who are unmarried. Black women are the largest population on the planet Earth. If you can't find one in America, get it from Africa. If you can't get it from Africa, go to the Caribbean, go to Canada, go to Europe. Why would a black man need to copulate, build a family with anything other than a black woman when you have so many black women available? It is an exercise in self-hatred. There's no way to get around it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as for the title, guys, you can see in today's video, the Dusty of the day is none other than Matt Jeans. He was indeed the first black male on the Bachelor show, and we already know this male because I have told you guys for the longest of time, the only reason why you will see a self-hating black male on this television show is because they want to escape black women literally at all costs. So we already know, given that this dust bucket here was the first black bachelor ever to exist, we know that this male was bound to go out here and get one of the women that they continuously come out here and pedestalize, right? What is so interesting about that whole situation is that this preference that you guys are viewing here, you guys know once that show was launched and everybody were more invested within their life, then these photos started circulating of her where basically she was on the plantation. That is all I'm going to say in regards to that. So this male faked that he had broke up with her only for them to then go and get back together. I don't really think they were broken up in the first place because momentarily I'm going to incorporate a clip where this lady is doing a deep dive in their entire relationship, because recently the preference here, she went on a podcast that is called Call Me Daddy, and she was very vulnerable about all of the turmoil that she experienced within her 4-year-long relationship to this dust bucket. So Becky, because she thought, you know, it is 4 years, what are we doing here? Basically, according to what the girl is going to say, it seemed like this dust bucket doing what they do best. He were basically leading her on, only for after 4 years to come out here and tell her that even though you're a preference, even though you're hardward, I was very much aware of that, but I just decided to park it to the side because at the end of the day, these male will be okay with their preference coming out here, demeaning them, talking down on them, being the hard R word, but they will find no issue with that whatsoever. So this Dusty, I don't know if this was his way of getting reparation, but basically after wasting his preference time for 4 long years, he ultimately decided that he no longer wanted to be in a relationship with her. And he also told her that he didn't think that he wanted to have kids with her. Isn't it quite interesting how these male, regardless of the group of women that they're able to get with, don't you guys see that these male always have the same pattern? They will waste your time if you allow them. They will make you into a single baby mama. They will then up and leave you. And in this situation, we would have thought that given that this is one of the women that they continuously come out here and worship, you would have thought that he would have at least married her, right? And that's another thing we already know. Regardless if he had married her or not, we know that that marriage also wasn't going to last because at the end of the day, these dusty male, they can't really sustain any type of healthy relationship with you as a black woman, with these Becky, Maria, and Ling Ling. So nonetheless, guys, I wanted to come on here, talk about yet another dust bucket coming out here, wasting his snow bunny time, telling her, even though we have been together for 4 years, I don't really think I want to marry you. Matter of fact, I want to end this relationship right here, right now, because I also don't want to procreate with you. But nonetheless, guys, listen to this clip and then we will come back with more.
If anything, this is just proof that men need therapy, potentially jail. If you don't have time to listen to the full hour and 40-minute long podcast, I just listened to it, I took some notes, I'm going to try my best to recap all this, so buckle in. I'm going to try and speed through some of the stuff on The Bachelor because I feel like a lot of people have seen that, but if you haven't, Rachel said that basically her friend submitted her kind of as a joke to be on The Bachelor. She found out she got accepted, she wasn't even going to do it, but then Matt was announced as The Bachelor. She thought he was really cute, he seemed like a nice guy, so she thought she would go on not expecting to go far in the competition. Usually at the end of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, someone is proposing, but at the end of Matt's season, he decided to say that he wanted to be with Rachel, but he wasn't ready to propose yet, which a lot of Bachelor fans and Bachelor executives weren't exactly thrilled about. But again, Rachel didn't have a lot of expectations going into the show, so she said she was fine with it. So they're dating in private as the show is airing, but during this time, some photos from her in college surface of her at an antebellum party, which she has said to her knowledge she was just dressing up, attending a theme party in college, but this party ties back to a time period where slavery and racism were very rampant in our country. So then, on the final episode of the season, after the final rose, Matt goes on and publicly ends things with Rachel and says that he can't get over this and he can't be with her, which she was super understanding of, said that she would never be able to understand it, but in private, they're still talking every day. He doesn't believe that she expresses any of these beliefs, so they're trying to make things work. And during this time, she was under the impression that he was not seeing anyone, she was not seeing anyone else, but then it comes to light that he is seeing another woman. Rachel storms out of his place and they break up again. Somehow, over the next few weeks, they both end up right near each other in Atlanta for work, and he begs her for the opportunity to see her and apologize. They have a 6-hour conversation in her car, and they decide to get back together because she said she still loved him. So the first year of their relationship was obviously very rocky, but ever since they seem to be very strong. They travel the world together, they eat all this amazing food, and they seem to just be a really happy couple. So they were dating for 4 years, but they never actually lived together because Matt is super religious. But they did talk about wanting marriage and wanting kids and different cities they wanted properties in throughout their relationship. And Rachel said she wasn't necessarily in a rush for any of these things, but she just wanted to make sure they were on the same page of eventually wanting that together. And she said she totally thought he was, and he said even recently he had been saying more to her, start looking at rings, start saving stuff for inevitably when they get engaged. She did say throughout their relationship though that she felt like she was always saying sorry first, but Matt had said that she had trouble taking accountability. But that was like the only real issue they had had. So in January of this year, they take a big trip to London and then Tokyo. They're eating their way through London. The trip looks lovely. Matt at this time is also answering TikTok comments about how good the food is going to be at their wedding. So then they fly to Tokyo, and she said the first night she was super overwhelmed because she said that she was responsible for picking the dinner place, and obviously Matt's a food content creator, so there is kind of a lot at stake there. If they have a bad dinner, he can't post about it. She also said she just got their period, they had been traveling, she was jet lagged, so there was just a lot going on. So she said she started tearing up at dinner and literally like 2 tears fell, and he didn't really say much about it. And then at the end of the night, she goes to try and hug him, and he calls her out for getting emotional over this and said it wasn't a big deal. And she said he gave her space, but ultimately she wanted him there comforting her. But she said they wake up in the morning and everything's fine and normal. So they're supposed to be going to this market in Tokyo, and they're in an Uber, and she's showing him TikToks, and ultimately he just like snaps at her and gets really mad, and she was like, I don't know, I guess I was bothering him. They go to this market, they leave the market, she's super quiet and reserved, and he was like, why are you being quiet? And she was like, well, I was just trying to give you space because you got mad at me earlier. Which then she said opened a can of worms, and it turned into a much bigger argument. And then he just started saying some insane in my opinion, after 4 years of dating, after a little tiff, and was saying that there's qualities in her that he doesn't see his future wife having. So they go back to their hotel. She's about to fly from Tokyo to Atlanta that night, and they still are in this argument. He's saying he still doesn't feel ready, and at this point in the relationship, he should feel ready to propose, and he just doesn't. Also, he said he couldn't picture having kids with her when it was something they had talked about before, and that he didn't want her to resent him if he continued to waste more of her time. I'm sorry. After 4 years of dating, you just now realize this, and after a small fight on a vacation, you just decide to lay this all on this poor girl? This is the most insane part to me. So then she's leaving for the airport. They're broken up. She gets on the plane. She's literally about to take off in the sky, and her friend texts her and said that she saw Matt's Instagram post, and she was like, what? So Rachel quickly checks Instagram before she's about to lose service for 12 hours and sees the cryptic ass breakup post that we all saw. She said that's how all of her family, all of her friends, her sister found out that they were broken up. And he literally didn't even text her that he was posting it. So basically she gets back to Atlanta, sleeps off her jet lag for a few days, and then her sister comes over and she's finally ready to see her friends and family. And then apparently Matt tried calling her at like 1 in the morning, and she called him out for like how inappropriately timed his Instagram post was, and he admitted that it was wrong. Like, you just did all of that and are calling to check in on her in the middle of the night? Like, sir, bye. I just wanted to give the girl a hug the entire interview because you could tell she was just so heartbroken. She was still processing all of this grief and was forced to deal with it so publicly so quickly. It was just also super relatable, maybe not to the full extent that she experienced, but I feel like a lot of girls have experience with guys who are big talkers, make a lot of promises, and ultimately can't deliver on them. And it can be such a mind because you're hearing them say these things and you're like, oh yeah, we're on the same page, we're good. But ultimately, they're never going to be that person. I also just want to tip my hat to Alex Cooper because she did such a good job not only creating such a safe space for Rachel to speak about this, but giving some really incredible advice. Also, just shout out to Rachel for handling this with such grace. I mean, I cannot imagine. I totally would have crashed out. Throughout the entire interview, she was extremely respectful of Matt. I mean, in my opinion, too respectful of Matt. And it was just so brave of her to get up there and speak publicly about a very traumatic 4-year breakup. So again, thank you, Rachel, for your bravery. Alex, thank you for putting on such a good interview. And let this just be a reminder that men ain't
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Once again, these males will come out here continuously be disrespecting, demeaning, embarrassing Black women literally at every opportunity that they got. Because we already know, even though this male was indeed the first ever bachelor, we already know because these males are self-hating once again. You would think that this male, considering that he was the first bachelor, wanted to come out here and get a melanin goddess, right? That is the difference between Black woman and Black male, because I think that recently also they also had the Bachelorette show, and then there were also a very much beautiful, tall, slender Black queen. And we already know that is the number one difference between Black woman and Black male. Whenever we see Black male go on these shows, we know that these male are literally looking for non-Black women exclusively. But this Black woman, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that her name was Charity. Even though she had so many what I thought was very good option, this woman at the end of the day, she think that at the end, she ended up with a Continental Dusty. Once again, that is one of the huge differences with Black woman and Black male. Black male go on these shows so that they can escape all type of Black woman. Black woman, on the other hand, they go on these shows exclusively hoping for them to find this unicorn Black male king that don't necessarily exist, right? But nonetheless, guys, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about, yet again, another Dusty coming out here, wasting 4 years of his preference time, only for him to now tell her that, oh, I'm going to end it here. I don't really want to marry you. I don't think I can see myself having any kids with you. But at the end of the day, these males can only be who they are, right? They will come out here whenever they want to get in your pants. We know that they're going to say they're going to do whatever it takes. But eventually, we know that the mask is going to fall off. They can only have their representative for a certain period of time. Eventually, their claws are going to start to show precisely who they are. But nonetheless, guys, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. What do you think about this dust bucket coming out here? They've seen 4 years of his preference time, and now he's out here saying, no, I don't want to be with you anymore. What are your thoughts and opinion? Or please get in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.
Black women, it's time to hold ourselves accountable because we are reaping what we sowed. We have lied and gassed Black men up for centuries, letting them think that they are kings with no kingdoms, letting them think that they are the emperor when they are naked. And now we are dealing with the consequences of those actions. Instead of being honest with Black men and requiring them to do better for not only themselves, but the community that they help create, we have allowed them to tear it apart and then put it back together quietly behind their backs and then still let them get the credit for it.